Hey guys, welcome to another speed build. I hope you're all having a great day. I have been in the mood to build not only a starter home, but also in the neighborhood of Copperdale lately, and so that is what we are doing today. This starter home is under 20k simoleons and it has 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. I furnished it for 1 or 2 parents, so there is a master bedroom and 1 additional spare bedroom that I furnished for a teenager. I felt like since this is Copperdale, if I didn't make that room for a teen, it didn't make a whole lot of sense, so that is what I did. I did include some other packs in this build, but for the most part, it's pretty much just a high school years build with some parenthood thrown in and cats and dogs and some bits and pieces of some other packs, but like I said, it's mainly high school years, so if you do have high school years, you could totally download this and whatever you don't have will just be replaced. So one thing I knew I wanted to add on the outside of this build going into it, well, actually there was a couple of things. One thing being I wanted to make use of the high school years window, specifically at least in the teens room. That's the only room I have that specific window, but luckily it matches these base game windows perfectly. These windows we got from the birthday update a few years back and it's just base game. They're like basic windows, they're perfect, you know? Who doesn't love a good basic window like this? And this was actually added after high school years came out. So once I seen these in the build by catalog, I was so happy that we finally had other windows to pair with those high school years ones because those are kind of long. A little bit too long for my liking on most of a house. So usually I'll add these shorter ones. Everywhere else besides the specific room, I want that sim to be able to sneak out in, if that makes sense. And so you'll see me once I add whichever room is the teens room, I will then add that high school years window. And since this is a high school years build, I had to include that window. It would have been a missed opportunity. That's like one of the best parts about Copperdale and high school years is the fact that your teens can actually sneak out now. The other thing I wanted to include was a wrap around porch. And I just thought it was perfect in this specific lot because of that little like bay or whatever that body of water is right there. I'm not sure if it's a lake or a river, but it kind of looks like a bay to me. And so I thought it was perfect to have a wraparound porch so that you have that beautiful view of the bay as you walk around the whole porch. And then you eventually lead to the back porch or the backyard area. And even though this is such a small lot, it's a 20 by 15, I was still able to fit a yard on this build. So that was really, really nice. It's very small, but I mean, this is a starter home, so it's perfect to start your gameplay with. And then once you get more simoleons, you can move your family out into a bigger house. But to start the game, I feel like this is like the perfect size. And since it's under 20k simoleons, you can even have just one sim start the game out and live here themselves and maybe build their family from there. You don't need all 4 sims to be able to buy this house. If you do have 2 or 3 sims, should I say, not 4 sims, 2 or 3 sims, to start the game and you buy this house, then you will have more simoleons left over, which is super nice. You can use that to add more decorations or maybe a cheer mat for your teenager or some football supplies or whatever it is you might need it for. It's always nice to have those extra leftover simoleons. And that's the main reason why I wanted to keep it as a 20k starter home and not like a 24k, because I believe that's around the number of simoleons you will be given if you have 3 sims. I think it's like 22k for 2 sims, 24k for 3 sims. I think it goes up a couple thousand with each sim you add. But then, I mean, it is a starter home, but then I just have to, you know, specify that you have to have 4 sims to live here. And that's no fun. If you see this in the gallery or here on YouTube and you have your 1 sim and you try to download it, then it's like a little bit too expensive for you. Yeah, that's never fun. So I definitely wanted to try to keep it at 20k and I was able to do that, so I was super happy about that. So we are starting to furnish the inside of our house now, and I have a little bit of an entryway when you first walk in the front door, and that leads off to the living room, and I have a little dining table in the living room as well. And then it leads to this kitchen, and if you go back in the living room, there's a hallway right there that leads to the bathroom plus both of the bedrooms. I really would have loved to have been able to have a master bathroom in this house as well, but this house was very small. It was way too small to add another bathroom, and so they're just gonna have to share this one. And this one is relatively small as well. You could totally make it a little bit bigger if you pull that far wall that's attached to the hallway. If you pull that in, you can make the hallway smaller. It'll be very small, but then the bathroom would be bigger. Like, let's say you need a bathtub because you have a dog, or you have an infant or a toddler and they need to take baths in the bathtub, you'll have to make that bathroom bigger. So you'll just have to have this hallway be like a single tile wide, which will still be functional, but it'll just look very, very tiny, but that's fine as long as it works. And I did add a couple of food bowls here, and they are for dogs, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Maybe I should have thought about that. I should have probably made the bathroom a little bit bigger, but you could totally replace those little swatches, the little dog bone swatch. You could replace that for the little fishies, so you can have a cat instead if you don't want to have to add a bathtub. I mean, it's totally up to you. You also could technically add a bathtub in the backyard somehow. It'll be a little bit random, but that could be like your dog washing station. So we already have the kitchen put together, and we are now working on the living room, and I'm using this couch from high school years that I recently fell in love with. I first used it in my cluttered single mom apartment a couple of speed builds ago, and I realized how cute that couch actually was, especially this swatch in particular. And so I decided to use it again today since we're doing a high school years build, and I didn't have enough room or enough simoleons to have a sofa plus a love seat, and so it was the perfect time to be able to use that couch in a build, and so I definitely took advantage of it. And we have a fireplace in the living room with a coffee table with some plants on top of that just to make it look a little bit cuter. I have a basic beige rug. It was the best one I could find to fit there, to be honest, and that's why I used it. And I am gonna go back and delete the curtains on the window right there and the curtains in the kitchen just because I needed some extra simoleons, and I feel like curtains are a little bit of a waste of simoleons in a starter home. Like, yeah, they're cute, but you don't need them, you know? Like, I would much rather have some additional like wall decorations or furniture or entertainment items rather than some curtains. And it definitely doesn't look right if you have curtains in one room and not every room in the sim, since you have all the walls down most likely and you can see like multiple rooms at a time, and having curtains in one room but not the room next to it just doesn't look right to me. And so I try not to do that if I can help it. Then next to the living room, we have the little dining table area, and I am using the chairs from high school years, and that specific swatch is definitely my favorite. I think it is so cute. We have the tiny bathroom I was talking about. We have a shower, a sink, and a toilet. Everything your Sims need. And then we have the teens room right off of that and the master bedroom. But in the teens room, I have just a single bed. It's a small room. It wouldn't fit anything but a single bed. And I chose the cheapest one, I believe, just because, you know, it was the cheapest. But it also is very cute. I really love that bed. And we have an easel in there as well. I figured maybe this teen is into painting, and I needed something else in that room other than just the bed and the nightstand, and so the easel was like the cheapest thing, and it's a skill building item, so it was kind of like a win-win situation. And then we have a cute little yellow fuzzy rug on the floor in between the bed and the easel, and we do have that window that your teen can sneak out of, so I definitely love that addition. Just beware that the back door is actually in the parents' room and it has a window on there. And so your teen may or may not get caught trying to sneak out. Just be wary of that. Probably not, because Sims don't know the difference between a door with a window and a regular door, so you're probably fine. But in real life, you would definitely have to be cautious. And then we have the parents' room or the master room, whether it's a single parent or two parents, totally up to you for your gameplay. But we have that master bedroom right off of the hallway as well. And we have a double bed in there with a dresser, a nightstand, we have a rug. That's about it. We have some windows on the walls, and then we have the back door in the parents' room. That's just how the floor plan happened. It wasn't my goal to do that. I don't love to do that. I really love to have the back door in the living room or the kitchen or the dining room or even a hallway where the whole family can get to it. But in this case, it's only in the parents' room. But that's not really, that big of a deal. Your teenager can use their window and they can also use the front door and use that wraparound porch to get to the backyard. So, I mean, there's multiple ways other than the parents' room to get to the backyard. There's also an opening in the gate off the side of the house that will lead you to the backyard. And that is it for the inside of the house. We are now working on the exterior and I am just finishing up the landscaping. All of this landscaping, by the way, is from the Debug catalog. I'm sure you guys probably know that by now. Especially if you're a returning viewer of mine, you know that I love to add Debug landscaping to my starter homes especially. That's just the best way to save money, especially when it comes to landscaping, because some of the landscaping, it can get pricey if you use too much of it. If you use just a few things, it's probably fine, but I love to go overboard with my landscaping, and so it just doesn't work out with my starter homes. I did have a request a few months ago from one of you guys asking if I could do an EA restricted starter home because you said you liked how I do my starter homes, but you also thought it didn't really look like a starter home because of all the landscaping that I use from the Debug catalog. And that does sound like a really fun idea, and I definitely do want to do it. Obviously, this build is not that. This build is definitely not an EA restricted build, but that is on my to-do list. I do think that sounds super, super fun to try out. I've never tried it before, so we shall see how well I can do it. It's going to be so different from what I usually do. As you can see, I fill up my lot with landscaping, and with an EA restricted build, specifically a starter home when you only have the build by catalog where you can purchase landscaping and you have a limited amount of simoleons, that's going to be very, very bare compared to what I usually do, but it should still be fun at the same time. At least to try it out, I actually pulled these fairy lights out of the high school years Debug catalog, and so that's just the perfect example of what kind of really good stuff you can find in the Debug catalog. So I definitely recommend taking a look in there if you guys don't typically do it. But yeah, that is officially the end of our build for today. It was a super quick video. I have really gotten good at doing these starter homes super quickly, and so it just made the video super short. But sometimes these shorter videos are like a breath of fresh air compared to the super long videos I usually do. So I had so much fun building this for you guys and going over it with you guys, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Of course, if you did, consider leaving a like and also subscribing if you have not already, and share this video with your friends if they are simmers as well. Don't forget to leave your favorite part of today's video down in the comments below. This is available to download on my gallery, which is linked in the description box, and on my main YouTube profile. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and I'll see you in the next one very soon. Bye guys!